record. Anyway, we turn now to an update from the anti-Trump lawfare out of New York. Tonight, new efforts from DA Alvin Bragg to silence Donald Trump, all while allowing violent anti-Semitic rioters at Columbia University to go free. Here with reaction, Trump legal spokesperson Alina Habba and Harvard Law professor Alan Dershowitz. Alina, we got into this some last night. Let's go a little bit deeper. And where does this stand in terms of the Trump legal team and what you're trying to do?
Sure. DA Alvin Bragg has now tried a renewed attempt to continue the gag order against President Trump, the same gag order that violates every American's First Amendment rights, let alone the candidate for president, the leading candidate for president. He's renewing his claims that it is necessary to maintain them, even though the trial is over. He is stating that the reason is because, once again, those very scary MAGA, Make America Great Again, Republicans in our country, the people that love our country, happen to be the cause of fear for a judge. I get death threats, Sean, pretty much every week. I don't blame the DNC. I don't blame anybody that's uneducated. I don't go on a tirade about it. I take it because I'm a public person, because it's kind of what I asked for. But here we've got a guy who's political, and we have him using anything he can to take the constitutional rights of Americans, especially the rights of us to choose and hear the leading candidate for president of the United States of America, by taking away his voice. It's so desperate and pathetic. It's not enough that they can't win in court because they get overturned. Now they have to silence their opponent. It's absolute election interference.
Let's get your take, Professor. I don't think the Trump legal team has any other options but what they're doing. Your thoughts?
Well, they have to appeal. I have a piece in tonight's Wall Street Journal in which I urge people like us file lawsuits against New York. After all, we have the right to hear Donald Trump in the election. And this gag order says that Joe Biden can accuse Donald Trump of being a felon, having been convicted by an unfair jury, unfair judge of a non-crime. He has the right to do that. But Donald Trump has one hand tied behind his back because he can't respond in full. He can't talk about the judge's daughter. He can't talk about the unfairness of the jurors. I guess even the DA is now saying, well, maybe he can talk about the witnesses. But the First Amendment applies not only to Donald Trump, the speaker, but to all of us, the viewers and the listeners. We have the right to hear a full and complete debate, not a partial debate in which Trump is restricted about what he can say. So I hope that the gag order will be appealed by Trump's lawyers, and I hope amicus briefs, friend of the court briefs, will be submitted by ordinary people saying, look, you're depriving us of our right to hear somebody. We're undecided. We don't know who we're going to vote for. We may be influenced by this sordid and unfair conviction. We want to hear the other side. And that's why it's so important that the gag order be lifted at this point, not for Donald Trump's sake alone, not for the Republican Party's sake, but for the sake of all Americans, and particularly undecided voters who have a right to hear both sides of the issue.
Yeah, well said, Professor. All right, thank you, Alina. Thank you for updating us as well. We appreciate both of you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.